We are here at the Hearts of Hope Banquet that is put on by the Foundry 19th year, and Heather Dotson shared some hope today with us. You have a powerful story. If you would just share a little bit, Heather, about how God used the Foundry in your life.
Well, long story short, I was at a season in my life where I was extremely burnt out and went through some life trauma and didn't take time off. And I found myself relaxing and using wine to do that. The trauma compounded, and I just couldn't rest. And I just cried out to the Lord that I needed help. And I was in prayer with a lady, actually, and I was in counseling. It was spiritual counseling, and we were praying, and she just said, "What do you feel like the Lord's saying?" And I heard him deep within me just say, "My daughter has had enough." But when he said, "My daughter has had enough," it was like an earth-splitting, booming voice that was very parental, it was so parental. And I had been in ministry since 2003 professionally, led many groups. Helped lead worship and took people to Israel. But I had gotten on a cycle of just work, and then a big life situation, and I just hit a wall. But when he said my daughter has had enough, it was like he said, no longer will she be thrown to the wolves. And I felt it. And the next day, Tawana called me. A friend of my sister had reached out, and Tawana called me, and I asked her, "Is this a place for somebody like me?" I mean, I don't know. I had never been to any kind of place for any kind of restoration or rehabilitation, or I had never been in that situation before. And she told me her story, and I just really felt like the Lord said it was to go. And what I found there was rest from the world. No cell phones, no social media, no telephones. Nobody could get to me. Not that I was hiding from anybody, but it was a time that I needed to let the Lord take care of me instead of me trying to take care of myself. And for the first time, I didn't have to. And it's just what I needed. And I thought when I first entered, well, maybe just 30 days is enough, or maybe just. But the more I was there and the more freedom I was getting, more emotional than anything for me, just the emotional freedom and finding out who I really was again, and a reset. It was profound. So much. But.
Well, and I know you mentioned when you were speaking about that you had a change in perspective about who God was,
yeah.
Right?
I think if you just want to label it as anything, even though I was successful in ministry, I mean, my coworkers would tell you that, and we had I had at the deepest core of me, I knew I loved Jesus. I knew he was my healer, my deliverer. I knew that he loved me and he was my friend. I was missing that big component as God is my father. And I had what my counselor termed an orphan's heart. But that moment that he said, "My daughter's had enough," it was like I knew I was seen, that he loved me regardless of opportunity, missed opportunities, successes, failures. He just loved me for who I am, not for anything, not anything I could do for him. I was in a pleasing performance. The more you do, the better you are. And it was like he halted that, and he was just like, I think it's Psalm 37 in the Passion Translation. It says, "Give God the right to direct your life, and he will pull it off perfectly."
Wow.
And he certainly has pulled it off, because now, I bought my home here, and I have a wonderful job and a great family system, and I can't imagine him pulling it off more perfectly. And then I still get to I minister at the Foundry too. Well, I wouldn't say minister, let's say volunteer, but the day that I phased out, Tawana allowed me to start a Bible study there, and then once I got a job, I started at night, one night a week, doing Bible study. And then now I'm doing a morning change group with them at 7 a.m. on Fridays. And so Tawana and the ladies there have just, trusted me with being with the girls. And I think that's kept me just in that place of restoration.
Well, and I imagine that it'd be really rewarding in that you can, as far as being able to walk alongside these women and knowing, what it's like.
I think my compassion for the girls, and I don't know if I can articulate this, but it was hard enough for me, even as a woman that's been that knew the Lord. I knew the Lord when it was going on. Even for me, it was very difficult. But to see some of the women who've never, had a relationship, and they're starting off fresh, and they have children, and they, I had a home. I sold it. I bought a new one. I mean, I had some privilege in my life that, that the women I was, they don't have, they didn't, and so my heart goes out to them, and that's why I feel like I have to be there. I want to encourage them because we were in the same place emotionally. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we may have had some different life circumstances, but we all hit a wall of nobody cares. It's all about what I do for other people. Whatever those like today projections, we are in the same emotional place. And if we're not careful, we just get off center.
Well, and I think it was shared too about the commonality of that sense of isolation that kind of puts people towards that wall or hitting that wall, would you say?
Yeah, I think we maybe a term mask off. The Lord doesn't want your mask on. He wants you to be very honest with Him about where you are. And He wants people around you that are honest as well. People that you won't feel, well, if I tell Lori this, then she's going to think this about me, and then I can't do this, and she's not. So it's putting yourself with the right life-giving people. And don't get me wrong, I've got a wonderful group of friends from where I'm from that I am very mask off with them. They know everything, and but just carrying that through your whole life, not just with your little people, but your whole life, and letting people know that you don't have to strive for the love of God. It's unconditional. It's not changing. We can change.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time to talk with us and share your story.
Thank you.